Hey, what's up guys? It's Allyn with Sonic Electronix, and yes, we're at the Amp Dyno today, but we're not testing the amplifiers. This is actually the Amp Dyno Explained. So we just actually wanted to take a minute to explain a couple of the different tests that we run when we're dynoing the amplifiers, so you kind of have a better idea of what we're working here. So we're going to start off with our certified test. So this is how DMOR explains the certified dyno run. It will increase the amplifier's output until more than 1% harmonic distortion appears on the output. The AD-1 will only read power that was made while the distortion was less than 1%. If you have a noisy or dirty amplifier, this test may not work well for you. So basically, as you can see on the screen, we took the CD that DMOR Engineering gives you for the Amp Dyno, and this represents the track that's played during this test. And basically it plays up until it reads less than 1%, and at that point, at less than 1% distortion, that would be the number that you'll see, and that is your dynamic RMS power. So the test is actually really simple, but it's a very tight tolerant test. So as the track ramps up, as the amplifier sees the signal, basically the Amp Dyno cuts it right there when it sees less than 1% distortion, and that's your true certified RMS power. You can't trick it, you can't fool it, that's what you get. Now our dynamic power test will send a burst sine wave signal through the amplifier to measure the amplifier's ability to produce dynamic peaks contained in music. The AD-1, the Amp Dyno, will read the highest clean power that was produced during that burst. As you see below in the illustration, you can see the peaks in the signal that's being fed to the amplifier. And basically what the AD-1 does is it looks at all those peaks and it sees the highest clean power during those peaks, and that's a representation of music, and that represents on the dyno, the number that you get is the musical RMS power. Now to sum up both of our tests, we have our certified test, which we really like because it's a very tight tolerance test. It's as close as we can actually really get to how they test at the manufacturing level. Now our dynamic test is a little bit different. Like we've stated before, this simulates music, which we feel is the most important thing because that's the number that we feel is key, because we all play music. We don't just ramp up a track and play a test tone. Now maybe some people might, but I think the majority of us play music. So I think that's the number that's really key here. Now I also wanted to say that in some cases that we've seen, we cannot test every single amplifier. And the reason being, and you'll probably see this in future videos, some amplifiers have certain built-in protection circuitries that will not allow us to actually see or view the correct output of that amplifier. And that's solely because when an amplifier is designed, a lot of the times before the amplifier is in final production, they'll do all the tests on the amplifier to see how it performs, how it sounds, the harmonic distortion of the amplifier, so they know where they're at, what it puts out at 2 ohms, 4 ohms, etc. But when they go into final production, they actually will install and put in a protection circuitry in the amplifier in the event there's a short, a blown speaker, a weird voltage, a weird impedance reading. And so sometimes they'll have a really strict, tight protection circuitry. Then when you try to go do a test, the dyno will trip out the amplifier and we won't get the results that we want to see. So that doesn't mean that the amplifier won't produce what it's supposed to. It just means we may have a difficult time getting an accurate number with an amplifier that has a really tight, tolerant protection circuitry in it. So hopefully this gives you some more information on the dyno. You're obviously more than welcome to visit DMOR Engineering for more information on their products, as well as our own website, Sonic Electronix. We carry pretty much everything that they sell. I'm Allyn with Sonic Electronix, and thank you for watching.